Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I am so grateful that you are here. My name is Nikki and I channel messages from film and TV shows using tarot and oracle cards, and I'm excited and honored to be doing a reading for you today. For today's video, I will be channeling messages from some of the films in the Fast and the Furious franchise. And I actually received this idea as an inspired download during a meditation I did a few weeks ago. I actually like to see what comes through, and I kept seeing visions of cars. I was like, car movies. What are some of the best car movies that I could channel messages from? And the Fast and the Furious started showing up everywhere in my reality. I saw people talking about it. I saw advertisements. I kept seeing the films in stores. I was like, this is the next video that I will be doing for YouTube. And these films are so much fun. There were a lot of them that I actually hadn't seen. So seeing some new ones really helped to make the experience that much more fun. So how the reading will work. In the next part of the video, you will see 4 different piles. Please meditate on the pile that is speaking to you and go to the timestamps that I provide down below to go directly to your reading from there. Also, a lot of very general messages come through, so if you find that something doesn't resonate for you, that's 100% okay. Don't try to force something that does not fit. Only take what resonates and leave what does not. So let's jump into some channeled messages from some films from the Fast and Furious franchise. Hey pile number 1, welcome to your reading. I am so grateful that you are here. Your film from the Fast and Furious franchise is from 2013 and it's Fast and Furious 6, directed by Justin Lin, starring Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, Dwayne Johnson, Jordana Brewster, and Michelle Rodriguez. And the synopsis says, Hobbs has Dominic and Brian reassemble their crew to take down a team of mercenaries. Dominic unexpectedly gets convoluted, also facing his presumed deceased girlfriend, Letty. Okay, so let's see what your cards have to say. And disclaimer, there will be spoilers that come through the reading, so if you have not seen Fast and Furious Part 6, just be mindful of that as we move forward. Also, a lot of very general messages come through, so if something doesn't resonate for you, don't try to force something that does not fit. Only take what resonates and leave what does not. Your first card is the Star. On the bottom it says, have faith, the future is bright. Dreams come true. Positive changes that bring an end to challenging times. The light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, so I'm seeing that you're very close to achieving something, pile number 1. So right now, it's not a time to give up. Keep pushing through whatever this is, okay? The card states the light at the end of the tunnel on the bottom of the card here. And I feel some of you are being called to take a leap of faith with something. In the movie, Dominic Toretto, played by Vin Diesel, finds out his wife Letty Ortiz, played by Michelle Rodriguez, is still alive. Everyone actually thought she died in the 4th film, but she's very much alive, has amnesia, and doesn't remember anyone. The kicker here is that she's been working with a group of bad guys led by a man named Shaw, played by Luke Evans. Spirit is showing me a scene that happens towards the end of the film. The gang is involved in a high-speed chase on a highway where Shaw's crew assaults a highway military convoy carrying a computer chip to complete Nightshade. Dominic's crew intervenes while Shaw, who Letty is with, commandeers a tank, and cars start getting destroyed in the process. Brian O'Connor, played by Paul Walker, and Roman, played by Tyrese Gibson, flip the tank before it can do any more damage. This causes Letty to be thrown from the vehicle. Dom leaps after her, and they both land safely on another car. Later, Letty asks Dom how he knew they would land safely on the vehicle. He looks at her and says, "I didn't. Some things you just have to take on faith." So Spirit is saying it's okay to not know what will happen after you take a leap of faith with something. But having that inner knowing and faith within yourself that everything will be okay is what will help you keep pushing forward. And also how the universe will catch you after you leap. I'm also being drawn to how Letty didn't remember anything or anyone. But once she sees Dom again, she remembers his energy. Some of you are meeting people for the first time in this lifetime. And Spirit is showing me how these people, you have known them before. You may have known them for many past lives, but are finally aligning with them in this life. And when this happens, you'll know, because the energy will feel familiar, even if you don't know the person at all yet. At the end, Dom asks Letty if she remembers anything. She says no, but this does feel like home. So you'll also know if you're aligning with a soulmate if they feel like home to you. The star card also showcases Archangel Jophiel. So perhaps some of you have been working with her, or she has been helping you with something currently. On the card, she is holding 2 urns of water here. But she doesn't seem too concerned if the water is going to run out. So pile number 1, as you keep moving forward on your journey, the resources you need will be provided to you. And there is no need to worry if you're going to run out of something, because you won't. It's safe to move forward, knowing you're well provided for and protected. Trust that your future is bright. Your next card is 7 of Earth or 7 of Pentacles. And on the bottom it says, seeds well planted, efforts or investments that will be rewarded in the future, the need for patience, a time for resting and planning for the future, unnecessary worry. Okay, so this card shows me that the seeds you've been planting are about to sprout. Like the previous message with the star card, it's not a time to give up. Remain patient and keep working on your goals. If you've been worried, Spirit is saying to cut that out because your energetic support team has got you. I'm also drawn to the part on the card that says a time for resting and planning for the future here. At the end of the last film, the gang, they have a successful heist in Brazil, right? And in the beginning of this film, we find out Dom and his crew have fled to different parts of the world and are living peaceful lives. In the meantime, agents Luke Hobbs, played by Dwayne Johnson, and Riley Hicks, played by Gina Carano, are investigating the destruction of a Russian military convoy by a group of mercenaries led by Shaw. Hobbs finds out where Dom is located and visits him, and he shows Dom a photo of Letty as she was presumed to be dead. Hobbs wants Dom and his crew to help take down Shaw. So Dom gathers his gang, and they say they will help only if each and every one of them are pardoned and allowed to return to the United States. The agreement is set, and they begin their mission. So Spirit is showing me how some of you are waiting to be pardoned for a past mistake, or waiting to have something removed from your record, or you know what it feels like to wait for something to be removed from your record. And I'm also seeing all of the good work and energy you've put out into the world. And for some of you, this includes the healing you've done on yourself. You've worked hard or are still working hard on turning wrongs into rights. Spirit wants you to know that the good karma you've been putting out into the world is being given back to you as well, pile number 1. Your seeds are being well planted. If it looks like nothing is happening in your physical reality, look back within yourself and be proud of all the inner movement and shifts you've cultivated from within. You're being called to be more patient at this time, and also to stop being hard on yourself for any past mistakes you've made. Whatever you're waiting on, there is movement happening behind the scenes. Your angels and the divine are with you every step of the way. Your next card is dating. Okay, so with this card, Spirit is showing me couples who are married or who have been together for a long time. I'm being shown how you know everything about each other. In the movie, there's a scene where Dom challenges Letty to a street race. Afterwards, they are speaking to each other next to their cars. She doesn't remember him at all because she has amnesia. But he tells her that he remembers everything about her. And he tells her how she got 3 of the scars on her body. And then before they depart, he gives her back her cross necklace that he has been holding on to. Spirit is showing me the importance of continuing to date your partner and to do fun things with each other. I'm also being drawn to the cross necklace. I feel like some of you gave your partner or received from your partner a piece of jewelry that means a lot. For some of you, I feel like this piece of jewelry has gone missing or it was lost somewhere. I'm hearing things like how it's irreplaceable. And I feel like losing this piece of jewelry has caused an argument for some of you as well. And if this is the case, Spirit is saying to remember how you felt when you received or gave the gift. It was a beautiful moment in your relationship that drew you closer together. It was never intended to be used to draw you apart. And for some of you, your spirit guides are telling me this lost item is in the only place you haven't looked yet. And for others, it's actually in plain sight on a dresser or coffee table of some sort. Overall, what I'm seeing is that this item is a symbol of your relationship. And for some of you, I feel losing it got you and your partner talking to each other, even if it led to an argument. Make time for one another. Go on dates. Look at old photos and reminisce. Keep romance alive in whatever way resonates for you. Your next card is the Silver Waterfall. So this card comes with a message of the importance of raising your vibration. And there's also an energy of feeling like one needs to continuously protect themselves from negative energy. While it's important to cleanse and protect our energy daily, it's also important to understand that every person has negative and positive energy within them. We all have moments where we feel low vibes. Spirit is saying it's important to learn how to engage with anyone, no matter what vibration they bring. In other words, you don't always need some form of defense. In the film, there's a scene at the beginning where Shaw's hideout is found, but everyone soon learns it's actually a distraction. Shaw flees, and Dom's crew pursues him. Dom soon comes face to face with Letty, which provides all the confirmation he needs that she is not dead. She shoots Dom with no hesitation, but there's a look on her face where you can tell she feels his familiarity. She hurt someone she cared about without realizing it because she assumed he was a bad guy. I feel a lot of you are strong empaths who pick up on energy very easily. And Spirit is saying to give people the benefit of the doubt, though. You may be picking up on the fact that they had a bad day or feelings of something negative that happened to them recently. The negative energy you feel doesn't necessarily mean they are bad people. Actions and words will reveal someone's character in time. Cleansing your energy is done in order to release anything that is not yours and anything you don't need anymore. And the angels recommend cleansing your energy before you go to bed each night. This helps to raise your vibration. You can also raise your vibration by eating food that is good for you, taking care of your body with rest and exercise, and spending time in nature. Your next card is Coming Soon. Welcome to the next ascending age. Okay, so we are all spiritual beings having a temporary human experience here on Earth. And we are moving into the golden age, just as the card states here. People everywhere are awakening to who they really are and to the mission they came here to serve. Spirit is showing me how you are one of those people, and you carry a very strong gift of illumination, which means you shine light on darkness and help transmute and heal it. In the film, Dom's crew learns that Shaw is connected to a drug lord named Arturo Braga, played by John Ortiz. So Brian goes to Los Angeles as a prisoner to question him, and he learns some difficult truths on this mission. Braga tells him that Shaw helped to build his drug cartel and how Letty survived the explosion that everyone thought killed her. Shaw latched onto her after discovering she didn't remember anything. So Spirit is bringing through the message of how we come to Earth not remembering who we are or what our mission is. We all go through this sense of amnesia, but we came to Earth and forgot who we are in order to finally get to the point where we remember who we are. I feel an awakening has happened for you, and you're seeing the world as it really is, and you're beginning to remember why you came here. You heard the call go out in another dimension and bravely stepped forward to help uplift and serve humanity at this great time of awakening. And some of you chose very difficult life paths, but this all served a purpose in order to train you for the ascension taking place at this time. As the card states, welcome to the next ascending age, my friend. Your next card is Close your eyes to open your heart. With this card, Spirit is drawing me to the 4 creatures on the bottom of the card here, and they appear to be collaborating with each other. I'm also being shown the very last scene in the movie. Dom's crew successfully took down Shaw, and they have all returned to Dom's home in Los Angeles. They are having a family barbecue outside, and the movie ends with them all bowing their heads and saying grace before they eat. So Spirit is showing me how some of you pray or meditate with groups of people, and this is a very powerful practice to have. When we get together with groups of people and have a common intention of sending love and prayers to the planet and the collective, it has a profound healing impact. So if you have asked others to pray or to send loving thoughts your way or to someone in need, it does work. Some people think that sending thoughts and prayers does absolutely nothing, but this isn't true at all. The power of our minds and intentions, especially in a big group of people, makes a massive difference in the world energetically. Spirit wants you to know your prayers and intentions are heard. And when you connect with other souls with an intention to bring love and healing, that's exactly what you're calling in. Your next card is, When I shine bright, I give others permission to shine with me. So in the film, Letty was working for the bad guys led by Shaw, but eventually she can no longer resist the light that Dom and his crew bring. They help her remember that she is a light worker too, and she eventually changes sides. Spirit wants you to know how powerful you are, and how it's time for you to shine light into the world. By doing so, you're going to help other people shine their light along with you. A single candle is capable of defying and defining the darkness at the same time. And Spirit wants you to understand your ability to do this, pile number 1. Your last card is, in order to awaken the world to the light, I must not be afraid to shine. Well, you certainly have some messages to spread, pile number 1. And Spirit is saying it's okay to be afraid. But you'll find as you feel your fear and move forward with faith in yourself, you'll find that your fear starts to dissipate. Some of you are also here to help awaken others. And this is not something that is done through force or control. We help others to awaken by authentically being ourselves and sharing information. We all have free will, and people can choose to take or leave the information you bring. Yes, some will be triggered by your light. This is actually a good thing, though, as it means the information you shared is challenging the narrative. And you didn't come here to conform. You came here to stand out and help bring healing. In the movie, Dom and his crew did nothing different to get Letty on their side. They were simply themselves, and it was a decision she came to on her own. No one tried to persuade or control her decision. So shining your authentic light will draw many people to you, and they will feel your genuine energy and know it's not coming from a place of manipulation or control. The only thing standing in your way, pile number 1, is fear. Wow, very powerful messages coming from Spirit through Fast and Furious Part 6. Very, very cool. Thank you, pile number 1. Those are your messages from the film Fast and Furious Part 6. If your reading resonated, if you enjoyed it, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you on the next video. Bye. Hey, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. I am so grateful that you are here. Your film from the Fast and Furious franchise is from 2015, and it's Furious 7, directed by James Wan, starring Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, Jason Statham, and Michelle Rodriguez. And the synopsis says, Deckard Shaw seeks revenge against Dominic Toretto and his family for his comatose brother. Okay, so let's see what your cards have to say. And disclaimer, if you have not seen Furious 7, there will be spoilers that come through the reading, so just be mindful of that as we move forward. And also, a lot of very general messages will come through the reading, so if something doesn't resonate for you, don't try to force something that does not fit. Only take what resonates and leave what does not. Your first card is the King of Swords. And at the bottom it says, intelligent, impartial, respected, stoic, receiving wise advice, remain objective and fair-minded, public speaking, communicate clearly, unemotional relationships, or being emotionally unavailable. Okay, so the King of Swords is a powerful king who is wonderful with their words. I'm drawn to how the king on the card looks bored, though. So if we just take a closer look, you can see that he's not very content, right? And in the film, I'm being shown Brian O'Connor, played by Paul Walker. In the beginning, there's a scene where we see that he is in a car, and it looks like he's going to embark on a race, much like he does in the other films. But then the car stops short, and we see he is dropping off his son at school. And it's at this moment you can tell that Brian is missing his fast and furious life. He's missing the excitement, thrills, and adventure. And this state of being is also affecting his home life. He loves his family with all his heart and protects them fiercely. But even his wife Mia, played by Jordana Brewster, can tell he's not fulfilled. And she tells her brother Dominic Toretto, played by Vin Diesel, that she is pregnant with their second child. But she doesn't want to tell Brian because she doesn't think he would be happy about it. And this is actually very far from the truth. Ultimately, Brian's not bored with his family. He's bored that he isn't doing things for himself and things that excite him from time to time. So Spirit is showing me how some of you feel similar to Brian right now. The card also states to communicate clearly. I'm seeing some of your loved ones feel similar to how Mia feels in the film. And letting them know where you're coming from would help clear the air in a powerful way. Communicate how there are things you would like to do and experience. And Brian, like this King of Swords, is very objective and fair-minded. He knows how to split his time equally between family and other experiences. So there's also a message coming through about remembering the greatness you have within yourself. The card says intelligent, impartial, and respected. It also says public speaking. So Spirit is showing me how you are someone people love to be around. People love to hear what you have to say and feel protected in your presence. And when you do communicate things, you always do so from a place of fairness. You look at all sides objectively and make decisions from your heart. And this method will always serve you well. I also feel that amazing opportunities are coming in. In the film, Brian gets asked to help the gang with an action-packed mission. So sometimes things that are meant for us show up unexpectedly, but it's up to you whether you act on them or not. Your next card is the 10 of Cups in reverse. Okay, so with the last card, there was also a message coming through about unemotional relationships or being emotionally unavailable. And the 10 of Cups in reverse is a message of not being emotionally fulfilled, content, or happy. Some of you are having deeper issues with people in your life right now. I actually see codependent relationships where couples don't spend time with anyone else rather than each other. Or if they do, they make sure they are together to do so. I'm also seeing arguments about wanting to spend time with friends and one partner getting upset because they get stuck at home. Spirit is saying there must be a balance here. Both people deserve to have lives outside of each other. And this actually makes relationships stronger in the long run. If there are trust issues in the relationship, this means there is a deeper wound surfacing from within. This very well could be from an abandonment wound. And if this is the case, this wound can run very deep. A licensed professional could help to get to the root of why this is happening in order to bring healing. Also, has your partner shown they are trustworthy? If they have, knowing this will help bring more trust as you both spend time away from each other sometimes. Asking yourself deeper questions can help you see the situation in a new light as well. In the film, Dominic faces off against Deckard Shaw, played by Jason Statham. Deckard is bitter because the gang put his brother Owen Shaw, played by Luke Evans, in the hospital at the end of the last film. Deckard says to Dominic, "Have you ever heard the saying, 'The enemy of my enemy is my friend'?" And Dominic responds, "I don't have friends. I got family." So Spirit is showing me how you have a group of friends and how you view them the same way Dominic does. These people are family to you. And people who are in a relationship deserve to spend time with all people they love and think of as family. On the other end of the spectrum, I'm also seeing dynamics of some spending more time with friends than they do with their family. And as Spirit stated earlier, there must be balance when it comes to relationships you care about. Take time to emotionally invest in people who mean the world to you. People who you love and love you in return is one of life's greatest blessings. Your next card is Connection. So this card talks about how it's important to have a true connection and excellent communication with the person we are in a relationship with. Earlier, there was a message to communicate clearly with your partner. How we communicate is important as well. Sometimes we think we have communicated clearly and believe the other person has understood us, but then we find out this isn't the case at all. Communicating clearly takes practice and refinement as we learn to do so. In order to deeply connect with our loved ones, it's important to communicate from a place of non-judgment. Judgment repels instead of drawing people closer to each other. Also, are you withholding your thoughts from your partner? Do you or your partner walk away from each other when things get heated? With this connection card, I feel many solid soul connections here along with a lot of love. In the film, I'm being shown Dominic and Letty, played by Michelle Rodriguez. And toward the beginning, Letty goes and visits her own grave that was created when everyone thought she had died. Dominic comes up behind her, and she tells him how the old version of herself died that day, and how she was reborn. She also states how frustrated she is that she doesn't remember anything about her relationship with Dom because of her amnesia. She has little flashbacks here and there, but she hates that she can't remember any of it. She ends up telling him goodbye and walks away from him because she can't handle it anymore. At the end of the film, Dom is in a serious accident and Letty is holding him. She tells him that she remembers everything. And a flashback sequence takes place where she remembers getting married to Dom. She also asks him, "Why didn't you ever tell me we were married?" And he says, "You can't tell someone they love you." So Spirit is showing me the importance of connecting with your partner. Speak your truth to each other. Share your beliefs and where you stand on things. Share things you're passionate about and what gifts you want to bring into the world. With authentic connections such as this, you'll find your connection will deepen with each other more and more. Your next card is Worthiness. This card comes with a message of never giving your power away to other people. And the only person who can determine your happiness is you. If we rely on other people or situations to make us happy, then we will always find ourselves disappointed. In the film, Mia was scared to tell Brian she was pregnant because she didn't think he would be happy about it. She questioned whether she was enough to fulfill him and make him happy. And the thing is that we are all enough and worthy on our own. None of us need another person to complete us or make us feel whole. Yes, we all deserve companionship and connection, but feeling worthy and enough comes from within us. Other people are not responsible for our happiness. Sure, they can contribute to it, but we are responsible for the quality of life we want to have. And no one is expected to be perfect, nor does the universe judge us. Spirit is saying that you can choose to accept that you deserve love, happiness, support, companionship, and friendship. It's all available to you. It's just a matter of accepting and believing you deserve all these good things. Your next card is, how can this be a wonderful win-win-win? Okay, so in the film, there's a scene where Dom finds out that Deckard is spying on them. So he confronts him in an underground tunnel. Deckard flees, however, when a covert op team led by a government agent named Mr. Nobody, played by Kurt Russell, arrives and opens fire. Mr. Nobody tells Dom that he will help them take down Deckard if he helps them retrieve a computer program called God's Eye. It helps to track people on anything that uses a digital network. So Spirit is saying to take a God's Eye perspective with something you're experiencing challenges with right now. This is a time to ask for help with what it is you need, and also to consider the perspectives of other people. This helps to create that win-win-win outcome that the card is referring to. And when we have a God's Eye perspective, we aren't relying on our own understanding. We're opening up to other possibilities and open doors. Spirit is also showing me how the God's Eye program helps to track people down. Some of you are trying to manifest people into your life, or you've been wanting to track someone down. Ask for help with this as well. The divine and our angels see beyond what we can see. Asking them for help will bring the resources you need to manifest or track down certain people. And if you're having issues coming to an agreement with a group of people, how can you help to create win-win-win outcomes for everyone? Listen to everyone's perspective and see how you can integrate the ideas into a solution. Everyone holds a different piece of the puzzle. And in the end, Dom's gang works so well together because they utilize their strengths in the areas they excel at. Your next card is the hero of your cosmic journey. So this movie is full of heroes, and we are all heroes in our own way. Spirit wants you to remember how strong you are, and how it's okay if you keep getting rerouted on your journey. I'm seeing Brian in the film. He was thrust into a mission very unexpectedly as his help was required. He helps Dom and the rest of the crew to save the creator of God's Eye, Ramsey, played by Nathalie Emmanuel, from Nigerian terrorist Mose Jakande, played by Digimon Hauso. They all airdrop their cars so they can ambush Jakande's convoy and save Ramsey. She's being held hostage in the bathroom of a bus. Brian manages to get on the bus and help her get to safety. And there are still a few bad guys on the bus he has to deal with. And the bus is actually moving on a road, and the driver gets shot. This causes the bus to flip on its side and slides to the edge of a cliff. Both Brian and the guy he's fighting attempt to rush to the other side of the bus, But before Brian can move toward the exit, the guy slams this gate down and traps him on the bus. So Brian is forced to find another way off of the bus. He ends up breaking out a window and is dangling from the bus. His weight starts to cause the bus to slide further off the cliff, but he manages to pull himself up and then runs as fast as he can across the top of the bus to safety before the bus falls off the cliff completely. And this scene is insane. It's amazing. It's probably my favorite scene in this entire movie. But Spirit is showing me that you are encountering some closed doors on your journey. This doesn't mean you're not on the right track. It just means that there are other doors that will lead to greater flow for you. And just like Brian, you will find another way, even if that means you have to use a window instead of a door, or perhaps you have to climb a wall. Spirit is saying to look at other available options to your destiny. If a door closes, it means there is an even better route for you. And also, like Brian, even if it's a tricky route, you are strong enough to handle it and come out safely on the other side. Your next card is True Abundance is an Inside Job. Spirit has the best sense of humor, I swear. I'm drawn to how the affirmation on this card says, inside job. Well, in the film, Dom's gang goes on an inside job at a party in Abu Dhabi, and everyone dresses to the nines. They go there to steal the flash drive containing the God's Eye chip from a billionaire hidden in a Lykan Hyper sport car. And this is a very rare vehicle. And things get so chaotic that Dom and Brian drive the vehicle through the building, only to drive it through 2 other buildings as well. So Spirit is saying things can look nice and shiny on the surface, but if our emotions, thoughts, and beliefs are chaotic on the inside, we will manifest chaos on the outside. If your reality feels chaotic right now, go within. Feel your emotions. Release what no longer serves you. Let go of lack to let in abundance. And abundance is not limited to money. It's also our relationships and experiences. Your abundance is already here now. You just have to align with the version of yourself who already knows you have it. And you do that by being that version of yourself. Claim what's yours, pile number 2. And your last card is Peace is in my pulse. With this card, Spirit is saying to return to your peace because it's in your pulse. In the film, I'm being shown how Dom and his crew approach every challenge with calmness. And in this still and calm energy, we can hear our intuition loud and clear. And we can make better choices along the way as well. I feel a lot of triggers are coming up for some of you. And triggers are actually a good thing. We've been taught to view them as bad. But when we are triggered, it's an opportunity to feel what is coming up in order to let it go. And when you become aware of your triggers, it gets easier to navigate and understand them. And this is also how we learn to return to peace. Typically, you'll know you've been triggered when you feel your heart racing or feel like you want to react in explosive anger. It's different for everyone, but the emotion from the trigger will come on really quickly. So when you recognize that, you can choose to respond differently. You can feel what you need to feel, let it go, and respond instead of react. It's also 100% okay to not engage with someone when you've been triggered. You can walk away, cool off, process your feelings, and then assess the situation from a calmer place when you're ready to do so. Peace is part of who we are, and we can access it anytime we want. And nothing is worth your peace being stolen, pile number 2. Wow, very powerful messages coming through. Furious 7. Very cool. So that is your reading, pile number 2. Those are your messages from the film Furious 7. If your reading resonated, if you enjoyed it, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all so much, and I will see you on the next video. Bye. Hey, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. I am so grateful that you are here. Your film from the Fast and Furious franchise is actually the very first one. The Fast and the Furious from 2001, directed by Rob Cohen, starring Paul Walker, Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, and Jordana Brewster. And the synopsis says, Dominic Toretto is a Los Angeles street racer suspected of masterminding a series of big rig hijackings. When undercover cop Brian O'Connor infiltrates Toretto's crew, he falls for Toretto's sister and must choose a side, the gang or the LAPD. Okay, pile number 3. Let's see what your cards have to say. And disclaimer, there will be spoilers that come through the reading, so if you have not seen The Fast and the Furious, be mindful of that as we move forward. And also a lot of very general messages come through, so if you find that something doesn't resonate for you, that's 100% okay. Don't try to force something that does not fit. Only take what resonates and leave what does not. Your first card is the Ace of Cups. And on the bottom it says, a beautiful new emotional experience, a romantic relationship or deep friendship, awakening of psychic abilities or spiritual insights, a love letter, a new home. Okay, so aces in tarot mean new beginnings, and I think it's so cool your film is the very first one in the Fast and Furious franchise. It's just another reiteration of a new beginning. The card states a beautiful new emotional experience. So Spirit is showing me that a brand new emotional experience is coming into your life or is being offered to you right now. This can represent a relationship or even just a situation that fills your heart with joy and happiness. In the film, I'm being shown Brian O'Connor, played by Paul Walker, and Mia Toretto, played by Jordana Brewster. Brian is an undercover police officer who is working to find the crew who is responsible for hijacking a semi-truck trailer carrying electronic goods. Brian is sent to investigate a place called Toretto's Market, which is managed by Mia. And she's the sister of a notorious street racer named Dominic Toretto, played by Vin Diesel. Brian gets a job at Harry's Garage, which is across the way from Toretto's Market. He takes an immediate liking to Mia and has been going there every day for a tuna sandwich. The bond that Mia and Brian have is formed naturally, and ultimately they are friends first. So Spirit is showing me a relationship that has been getting stronger the more you spend time together. Perhaps you're having a similar experience to Mia, where someone comes in and visits you every day at work, or it's someone you see often in passing, or vice versa. The energy feels very new and fresh, but I see the two of you enjoy spending time together, or you will if you have yet to meet this person. I'm also drawn to the young girl on the card here. So I'm getting an energy that some of you work with children, or perhaps even a daycare of some sort. And I feel this is how some of you met the person that Spirit is referring to here. I'm also seeing dynamics of a child bringing the two of you together in some way. And I love this so much, as soul connections or soul family always recognizes the familiar energy. This could also be someone you're rekindling a relationship with, and for some of you, I see you have children together. I'm also drawn to how the card states awakening of psychic abilities or spiritual insights. So Spirit is showing me how your intuition is very strong. And I feel your spiritual gifts have just activated, or you're experiencing new psychic abilities. In the film, Brian has a very strong intuition as well. He's amazing at driving and racing cars, and he always knows the right time to turn the vehicle and shift gears. So whatever new beginning is transpiring in your life right now, pile number 3, your strong intuition is guiding you every step of the way. You have all the answers within yourself, and you'll know the next steps to take when the time comes. Your next card is the Knight of Wands. And on the bottom it says passionate, confident, charismatic, restless, events requiring immediate action, trust your instincts, stay focused, a passionate relationship. So, the Knight of Wands has an attitude of, here I am to save the day. This knight also has the energy of confidence that success will come. But they don't get bent out of shape if success doesn't come. They brush themselves off and keep trying again. And they always keep a good attitude. In the film, Brian represents the Knight of Wands as well. Dominic fires Brian from Harry's garage, so he has to figure out how to find a new lead on the heist crew. He brings a 1995 Mitsubishi Eclipse to a car meet. Dom initiates a race with Brian. They race, and Brian's car malfunctions in the process. He doesn't get upset about losing, though. He laughs at Dom and says, "I almost had you." Spirit is showing me your good attitude when competing or working on something. You are not someone who is a poor sport. You make things fun, and you make people feel good about themselves. You also know when to take immediate action on things because of your strong intuition. Spirit is saying sometimes it would benefit you to have a backup plan with certain things, though. Jumping into something hastily without thinking things through could lead to consequences you would rather not prefer. The bottom of the card states, a passionate relationship. Perhaps this is the new emotional connection Spirit was referring to with the Ace of Cups. I'm being shown Dom and Letty, played by Michelle Rodriguez. There's a passionate scene between them in a garage that Spirit is showing me. And I do feel a spontaneous energy that some of you have with another person. I am also seeing how Letty gets jealous when Dom talks to another woman at a race. So if you're experiencing something similar, trust your instincts. You're not one to be played, pile number 3. You exude confidence and know when to walk away if someone isn't valuing you. Your next card is Chivalry. Okay, so a chivalrous person is someone who faces all challenges life throws at them, and also someone who protects their dreams and the people they believe in. In the film, Brian is the perfect example of someone who is chivalrous. I'm being shown the scene where he has dinner at the Toretto household. After they eat, he sees Mia doing the dishes all by herself. He offers to help her and asks her out on a date. She tells him no because she doesn't date her brother's friends. Another friend of Dom's named Vince, played by Matt Scholes, sees them in the kitchen and makes fun of Brian for helping Mia with the dishes. Mia then tells Brian she will go on a date with him. Mia felt secure and supported by Brian, and she encouraged his chivalrous energy when he asked her to help in the kitchen. When Vince resorted to immaturity, it helped her see Brian more clearly. So, this card of chivalry being pulled in your reading pile number 3 means chivalry is an energy being called into your life right now. Both genders, or however someone identifies, can be chivalrous. One partner usually exudes more of this energy than the other. If you're the one in a relationship who would be more chivalrous, Spirit is saying to consider ways of how you can demonstrate that with your partner to help them feel more secure and supported. If you're the one in the relationship who wants your partner to be more chivalrous, Spirit is saying to thank your partner when they do express it. It will lead to them doing it more often if they feel encouraged to do so. Your next card is Yin and Yang. So this card is a call to balance the masculine and feminine energy within yourself right now. We all have both energies within us, and these energies are not gender specific. They are energies that help us with various things in everyday life, and both serve us in very different ways. Our masculine energy helps us to take action and get things done, while our feminine energy is composed of all the nurturing traits it takes to connect with other human beings. And it's about embracing our intuition and creativity. And some of us lead more naturally with one energy over the other, and that's okay. But when there is too much of one energy over the other, it can create challenges and imbalances in our personal relationships. With too much yin energy, we may find ourselves being too passive. With too much yang energy, we may find ourselves being too aggressive. In the film, Brian and Mia represent the perfect balance of masculine and feminine energy. No, they weren't perfect people, but they worked well with each other because of the flow they had with one another. Toward the end, when Mia finds out Brian has been working undercover, she is furious with him. He tells her that Dom is in danger and that she has to help him. You see her reluctance, but she agrees to help him because she has built a lot of trust in him. And it was difficult for her to move forward in that trust because he wasn't honest about being a cop. But she chose to listen to her intuition, and the balance they have with each other helped them through a very challenging situation. So Spirit is saying a great way to balance masculine and feminine energies within yourself is to focus on the yin and yang symbol, and then to call that energy that you feel you could use more of into your life. For example, if you've been procrastinating on a project, calling in more yang energy would help to bring in the energy to help you take more action. Assess which area of your life is out of balance right now. Then call in the energy that would help you the most. Your next card is Enter. One step forward, one step onward. Okay, I can see some of you are in a cloud of confusion right now. But Spirit is saying the key is to keep moving forward. I feel like something has happened where your path doesn't feel very clear at the moment. In the film, after Dom beats Brian in a street race, the LAPD arrives at the scene. Dom flees, and Brian ends up rescuing him and helping him to escape. This inadvertently causes them to venture into the territory of a rival racing gang led by Johnny Tran, played by Rick Yoon. The gang destroys Brian's Eclipse, and both he and Dom have to walk home. So Spirit is showing me that if you've run into obstacles, there is still a way out or around. Just like Dom and Brian, who walked home, put one foot in front of the other and keep walking until a solution reveals itself. Eventually you'll find you walk right out of the fog. Your next card is Cut away what is no longer needed for you. Okay, so this card comes with a very powerful question to ask yourself. Which old story has my family or lineage deposited onto me that's no longer true? I feel some of you are doing some deep ancestral healing at this time, and I feel overwhelming emotions come over you sometimes. And often this is the energy from our lineage coming up to be released. The card says to cut away what is no longer needed for you. So this is a time to release those energies that were deposited onto you from family members. These burdens are not yours to carry, and you're not responsible for healing any of your family. You're only responsible for your own healing. In the movie, there's a lot of emphasis on gangs. So for some of you, I feel there were established gangs within your lineage, and there was a lot of chaos created from this. I feel some of you are working on healing the separation this caused, and I do see you've gotten through to a lot of your family members. I also feel a lot of you are stepping away from certain family members who have been negative in nature or haven't treated you or other members very well. I'm drawn to the scissors on the card here. So I feel some of you are cutting off people within the family, and it's been difficult. I also feel a strong sense of having helped someone financially and finally putting your foot down and saying no because it was leading to enabling. So doing what's best for you is important here. And you're breaking generational curses, whether you can see that or not, my friend. Your next card is Relationships are assignments for optimal growth and healing. With this affirmation card, Spirit wants you to understand that every relationship you've had has brought about lessons you came to Earth to learn. We put soul contracts into place before we incarnate, and we choose relationships that we know will best serve our growth and expansion. Sometimes we become friends with people we didn't previously think that we would. And in the film, Brian is an undercover cop who befriends Dom, who is in a gang, and they both learn a lot from each other. Dom learns that not all cops are bad, and Brian learns Dom is a soul brother. Spirit is showing me some of the challenging relationships you have in your life right now, and even ones you experienced in the past. What lessons are you taking away from these interactions? I'm also hearing some of you question why you keep attracting the same type of person. And the answer to that is because the lesson related to these types of people hasn't been learned by you yet. In order to break the cycle, you must do something you haven't previously done. For example, let's say you keep attracting people who disrupt you while you're working on something. You would break the cycle by setting a boundary and communicating that you don't want to be disturbed at those times. And often you'll find the universe will bring about a test to see if you will stick firm to your boundaries. If you don't, the cycle continues. So all relationships in your life are teaching you something. Have you learned what that is? Pile number 3. And your last card is, in the midst of a meltdown, I breathe through the discomfort and come out the other side. Okay, so with the word meltdown, I feel some of you suffer from anxiety and panic attacks. And I'm actually being shown Jesse, played by Chad Lindbergh. At the end of the film, he is killed in a drive-by shooting. So I feel some of you survived or experienced one in some way, or your family did, and it has left lingering effects and trauma. Or there was gun violence or some type of traumatic experience of some sort. And I am so sorry you experienced that, for those of you that did. Spirit is showing me how loud sounds can trigger the pain from this, and it even leads to panic attacks sometimes. I know this won't resonate for everyone, but Spirit wanted to bring this example specifically. For all of you who experience anxiety attacks, the message on the card says, I breathe through the discomfort and come out the other side. So Spirit is suggesting meditation and returning to your breath when a panic attack arises. The emotions from the traumatic experience are coming up to be released, or the anxiety from your ancestral lineage is coming up to be released through you. Allow yourself to sit with the anxiety. Feel the pain and let it move through you. And remember to keep breathing while you do so. In order to heal it, you must allow yourself to feel it. This is why anxiety keeps returning, because it's not being felt in the body. We were taught to view it as something we must get rid of, but the only true way to release it is to feel it. And this is not something you're new to, pile number 3. You've been releasing and purging negativity for many lifetimes. This one is no different, and you got this. Whew, wow. Powerful, powerful messages, pile number 3. A lot of insight and wisdom coming through the Fast and Furious film for you. Thank you so much for being here. Those are your messages from the 2001 film, The Fast and the Furious. If your reading resonated, if you enjoyed it, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Thank you again for being here. I love you all so much, and I will see you on the next video. Bye. Hey, pile number 4. Welcome to your reading. I am so grateful that you are here. Your film from the Fast and Furious franchise is from 2003, and it's Too Fast, Too Furious, directed by John Singleton, starring Paul Walker, Tyrese Gibson, Eva Mendes, and Cole Hauser. And the synopsis says, it's a major double cross when former police officer Brian O'Connor teams up with his ex-con buddy Roman Pierce to transport a shipment of dirty money for shady Miami-based import-export dealer Carter Verone. But the guys are actually working with undercover agent Monica Fuentes to bring Verone down. Okay, so let's see what your cards have to say. And disclaimer, there will be spoilers that come through the reading. So if you have not seen Too Fast, Too Furious, be mindful of that as we move forward. And also, a lot of very general messages come through. So if you find that something doesn't resonate for you, that is 100% okay. Don't try to force something that does not fit. Only take what resonates and leave what does not. Your first card is the Seven of Wands in reverse. Okay, so with this card, there's an energy of wanting to give up on something because of criticism or judgment from other people. I also feel an energy of stopping something when someone challenges your perspective. And some of you may have a tendency to come off as too aggressive when defending yourself, and this has led to some of your relationships being damaged. In the film, Brian O'Connor, played by Paul Walker, gets arrested following a race because he helped wanted felon Dominic Toretto in the last film. He gets offered a deal by his former boss, Agent Bilkins, played by Tom Barry, and also by Agent Markham, played by James Remar. They tell Brian his record will be cleared if he goes undercover to help take down an Argentinian drug lord named Carter Verone, played by Cole Hauser. Brian agrees, but only if he can choose a partner to help him. He opts for his estranged childhood friend, Roman Pierce, played by Tyrese Gibson. He is currently on house arrest for Grand Theft Auto, and he's not exactly happy to see Brian. He actually blames him for his own arrest, and he doesn't trust Brian because of the time he spent being a cop. So Spirit is showing me that a lot of your aggression stems from people disappointing you in the past. And when that pain is triggered, it causes you to close off your heart and lash out. And when we do this as humans, it's a coping mechanism we've adopted for dealing with trauma. Spirit is saying there's always going to be someone who doesn't like you or the work you do. You're not for everyone, and that's okay. So the next time someone challenges your perspective or criticizes you in some way, listen to what they are saying. Is there any validity to their points, or are they just being a bully? When you learn to discern what people say, you can choose your response instead of reacting. And never, ever let anyone steal your peace to the point where it could cause you to give up on something you love doing. Focus on the people who do support and love you. Focusing on the ones who don't will only bring more of that kind of energy into your reality. And you simply don't have time for that, pile number 4. You've got passion, creativity, and a purpose to shine in the world. So get to it, my friend. Your next card is the Six of Pentacles in reverse. With this card, Spirit is showing me there's an imbalance when it comes to giving and receiving. In the film, when Brian and Roman start working together, they find out that Verone is planning to smuggle money out of a house that's under surveillance in South Miami. Brian and Roman are angry about this and relay the information to Agent Markham. So Spirit is showing me that some people have taken advantage of your generosity and good nature, pile number 4. And this has built up a lot of resentment. I feel that you are someone who enjoys helping and giving to others. Spirit is saying this is part of who you are, and the good energy you put out does matter. But not everyone has the same heart you do. So don't let that stop you from continuing to do good. I'm also seeing that in order to bring balance with giving and receiving, it's time to let yourself receive. When people do nice things for you, allow them to, because you do deserve to receive as much as you give. For example, allowing yourself to receive compliments is a great start. I feel some of you are uncomfortable with compliments and actually negate the compliment when it's given to you. For example, if someone compliments your outfit and you say, "Oh, I just threw this on today," it's like giving energy that the compliment wasn't a big deal, and that's not allowing yourself to receive. Believe that you deserve to receive good things, because you do. Spirit is also drawing my attention back to feeling resentment. And I feel this is coming from people not saying thank you or coming off as unappreciative with something you've done for them. And Spirit wants you to know that you don't need validation for your good deeds. Yes, you deserve validation, but you doing them with a joyful heart is enough without expecting anything in return. And every good deed you've done for others has been recognized in higher dimensions. It's quite a different story, though, if you've been helping someone repeatedly who takes and takes, though. This can lead to enabling someone who doesn't want to help themselves. In this situation, boundaries must be set and stuck to. You will know if this is the case for you if the cycle keeps repeating and you continue to feel resentment. To break a cycle, you must make a new decision that you haven't previously made. The cycle will continue if you keep responding to it in the same way you always have. Your next card is Serendipity. Pile number 4. Your journey is unfolding naturally and gracefully. With the energy from the 7 of Wands in reverse, Spirit brought through a message of wanting to give up on something. With serendipity, I feel another reason for wanting to give up is because you've been in a waiting period for something to happen. In the film, Verone calls a group of men together that includes Brian and Roman. He tells the group that one of his vehicles was confiscated and impounded, and that there is a package in the glove box that he wants back. He tells the group that whoever can retrieve the package first and bring it back to him will have an opportunity to work for him. Darden, played by Eric Etabari, says, "Are you saying we gotta audition?" Spirit is showing me that more inspired action is needed on your part to manifest what it is you want. I'm drawn to the word audition as well here. So I feel a lot of you are performers, and going to auditions will help put you in the right place at the right time, thus creating serendipity. And if you've repeatedly been told no, you're that much closer to your yes. Be grateful for the no's and the rejections, because it means that's not meant for you. There's something even better. And for those of you who are not performers, the same message applies. Keep taking inspired action and creating, because manifestations are a co-creation with the universe. And the universe can't bring you what you want if you don't take action. And if you've been wanting to manifest love, serendipity works the same way. You'll be in the right place at the right time, and it will be unexpected because the universe likes to surprise us like that. So divine timing is at play right now. Just keep trusting. Your next card is Spiritual Maturity. Okay, so this card is all about how relationships can be difficult if both people don't share the same beliefs or values. For those of you in a relationship, I feel a strong sense of spiritual maturity and being on the same page with things. For others, I feel this is an area of conflict in your relationship. In the film, there aren't any outright storylines around spirituality, but there is an emphasis on Brian's relationship with Monica Fuentes, played by Eva Mendes. She is working undercover as Verone's girlfriend. And she despises him. But she forms a solid connection with Paul Walker, who she does have feelings for. So with the word undercover coming out here, I feel that some of you feel like you can't be your authentic self in a relationship. I also feel the controlling energy that Verone brings. He's constantly telling her what to do and where she can go. And a spiritual connection is not just in regards to religion. It's also a deep connection that feels like home. And no one deserves to settle for less than that. Unconditional love is where both people accept each other for who they are. It is not jealous, judgmental, or controlling. It's understanding each other's beliefs and feelings and respecting that. Spiritual maturity is also about accepting another person's views, even if they don't align with your own. It's okay to question the beliefs and ideals we were given as children. And when we do this, we allow ourselves to open up to some pretty cool facts about other perspectives and cultures. Your next card is find your star family in this cosmic game of hide and seek. Okay, so there's a lot of synchronicity and serendipity laid out for you, pile number 4. And this includes aligning with your soul family. When you meet them, you'll have a deep understanding that you're all here to do something great together. In the film, it's like events line up perfectly for Brian to reunite with his childhood friend Roman. And that's also what the Fast and Furious films are known for. The friend group that helps each other no matter what and are considered family. And soul family isn't perfect, but they are perfect for us. They challenge us to be better humans, and they love you unconditionally. These connections also won't feel forced. The connection will flow naturally. So Spirit is showing me how you're calling in your soul family now. I also feel like some of you will meet them while on a trip. Regardless, your reunion with them is happening soon. Your next card is out of the mess comes elegant order. You know, sometimes watching these films can be uneasy because you see so many beautiful cars get destroyed. And this is a metaphor Spirit is bringing through the message on this card. Sometimes things in our lives are going well, and then we get blindsided with chaos. But it's in that chaotic messiness that elegant order comes about. In the movie, I'm being shown one of the scenes at the end. Verone finds out that Monica hasn't been honest with him, and he takes her hostage on his private yacht. Verone has also ordered that Brian be killed, but before that can happen, Roman shows up and saves him. While Verone is trying to flee on the yacht, Brian drives a Yanko off of a ramp and crashes into the deck on the yacht and is able to apprehend Verone. So, I feel an energy for some of you having been in an accident or crash of some sort, and it's caused a lot of stress. I'm also seeing how Brian was arrested in the beginning, but it led to him being able to help the cops take down Verone. So whatever mess you're dealing with right now, it's happening for you, and not to you. It's leading towards your highest good. And it's okay to feel frustrated with sucky situations. But Spirit is saying there are no breakthroughs without breakdowns. And to look at your situation in a new light. What can you appreciate about the mess in your life right now? How has it served you? What is the good in this mess? Your next card is, I measure my success by how much fun I'm having. Okay, so I'm hearing that saying, focus on your journey and not the destination. Spirit is saying that joy is the ultimate creator. And there's been a repeating message of waiting on something to manifest in the reading. The biggest thing I feel that is for a lot of you is success. You're wondering when that's coming in. And Spirit is saying to focus on the fun and joy that your passion brings you. Because joy is a powerful emotion. And emotions help us manifest what we want. So the key is to not focus on what hasn't showed up yet. Focus on having fun and enjoying your journey. In the movie, Brian and Roman love cars and racing, and they do it so effortlessly because they have fun. During the scene when they are in a race to retrieve the item from Verone's impounded vehicle, they show off on the highway while driving, and they're laughing and having fun. I'm being shown specifically the scene where Brian flips his car around and is driving backwards. They didn't know if they were going to be the first to get the item, but they sure had a great time doing it. Have fun while you're creating. Not only does it help you remember why you're doing what you're doing, but it also helps you to enjoy and trust the process while not staying focused on the outcome. And your last card is, I show up for myself and the world. Pile number 4. If you want people to show up for you, you must show up for yourself first. Our outer world is a reflection of our inner world. Make yourself a priority, as this is not selfish. You've got to take care of yourself before you can truly take care of others. Fill up your own cup first thing every morning, because operating from an empty cup won't get you very far with helping others, because you'll be too drained to do much else. And be your own cheerleader if you're not receiving recognition at this time. This will go a long way with your self-concept. In the movie, I'm seeing Monica sunbathing by a pool. So I feel a self-care day is in order for you. Take a day to pamper yourself and do all the things you love to do. Rejuvenate your energy so you come back even stronger when you tackle your work and projects again. I'm also hearing before you sit down to create, meditating for 5 to 10 minutes will help get you in a flow state so ideas can flow through you easier. And give yourself the love you give to others, my friend. You deserve it. Wow, beautiful reading, pile number 4. I love those messages so much. Those are your messages from the 2003 film, Too Fast, Too Furious. If you enjoyed the reading, if it resonated, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all so much, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.